Hello, everyone. I am in the process of finishing up the big review of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I've been working on that for 2 weeks now, almost. And I'm sort of at the home stretch, and I should be working on that right now. But a situation has come to light within the last 48 hours, and normally I wouldn't comment on just any random thing that happens in the toy collector culture. But in this particular case, it's something that directly collided with my world several years ago. I'll get to the headline first, and then we'll flip it back, because there's a lot of stuff here that I feel has to do with the toy collector culture at large, and it's the situation with this person has already been addressed by some other YouTubers, including All Things 80s. And I'll go into that a little bit, but you can get all the details from the All Things 80s video. I want to go into the larger peripheral problem. Okay, so the short version is that there's a guy who has changed his channel names many times. Now it's Blue Harvest. He used to go by Darth Mark. I don't even know all the different channel names he's had. He may have had the same channel name and just changed his avatar handle on social media a lot. But he used to go by Darth Mark. He created a live stream show several years back called The Palaboys. Mark is British, and this was a vintage Star Wars collector live stream. And it was starting to gain some traction and some notoriety. And at the time, I had some friends who were, I guess, moderating that show, and as you know, not admins, they were moderators in the live chat. And they kept asking me if I would consider going on that show, and I kept saying no. The reason I kept saying no is this is where this scenario kind of collides with what's happened. So let me tell you what's happened, and then I'll go back to this. So this guy, Mark, who is now Blue Harvest, I formerly knew him as Darth Mark of the Palaboys. He was arrested in September and was in jail for the better part of 3.5 months or whatever it was. And he was arrested because he was he was caught in a sting operation to catch child predators. And he was overtly gunning for an encounter with a minor. Now, thankfully, this minor was Fugazi. It was actually a British police officer online. However, the unfortunate part is that it's revealed that this guy has a prior record. Like, in other words, this isn't his first rodeo. And people in the background, underage people, have been harmed sometime in the past, and he's on a registry. He's got a record, and all of his computers have now been confiscated, and all this stuff. So that's the headline. What I want to address is the fact that even after things that he did, which I'll get into in a minute, occurred that weren't even of this nature. They were just affronts to the toy collector culture and the YouTube audience. Even after some major dust-ups like that, other people still kept befriending him. So let me take the Wayback Machine, now that we've hit the headline. Let me take the Wayback Machine to a few years ago. This was around 2020, I think. This guy was running his Palaboys show. Some people that I knew who were signed on as his moderators were asking me to be on the show. And I had said at the time, look, I don't have any problem with his co-hosts. I said, but I got a problem with this guy. I got a real problem with this guy. Why do you have a problem with this guy? Why? He's all right. No, he's not all right. Because he had done a drive-by on Twitter at me in a post that I had made where I had revealed all of the emails from the dude who tried to lie to his own audience and claimed everybody that the sail barge situation that I was dealing with was a hoax, like that whole thing. So the guy that made the false claim and then, blasted it out on the internet that I was perpetrating a hoax on my audience about that HasLab sail barge, I got the emails from him in an exchange where he admitted that he had made everything up just to get clicks. So then I made a video about that. Well, that video, I posted that link on Twitter, as I do on all the RetroBlasting, platform pages when a video comes out. That guy, this Mark guy, saw the post of the video on Twitter, and he just went into the DMs and just started telling me what a bad move that was to out this guy. In other words, out his emails and his lies and everything else. And he just started criticizing every single choice that I was making for my channel. Now remember, I didn't know this guy. I knew who he was. He was the Palaboys guy, but I didn't know him. I was like, what are you doing? Coming at me like this. Like, you're not in this situation, and you really shouldn't be white knighting for the guy who has proven by his own word that he was the liar in this situation. He was accusing other people, me, of lies out of nowhere to get clicks, and then admitting I didn't really ever believe all that. I was the one lying the whole time, meaning this guy. I'm like, you've seen those emails, you've seen the video, you know that, and you're now white knighting for this guy. So he starts backpedaling, and he's like, no, I'm just saying that, like, I wasn't there, so I can't judge this guy. And I'm like, aha, here we go. So because it didn't happen to you, it didn't happen. I'm like, and on top of that, I find it funny that you're claiming that you're not judging that guy. And then he made the blanket statement, I don't judge. I'm like, but you are judging my actions. You've literally come in as a stranger to my DMs to tell me that you think everything I'm doing with this guy is wrong. And then in the next breath, you're like, but I don't judge that guy. I'm like, you're a piece of shit. I'm like, you're an absolute piece of shit. I think you've misunderstood me. I really like your channel. And then he tried to get me to come on his show. And I was like, no, I'm not going to come on your show. Like, no, I said, we have a mutual acquaintance who's one of your moderators. I said, you better be kissing his feet that he got me to show up in the live chat just to check out one of your Palaboys streams for about 3 minutes and leave a comment. I did that as a favor to him, not you. I said, but I'm never coming on your show, ever. Like, because of the way that you've clearly, in your mind, done the mental gymnastics to say, even though this guy's been proven to be a liar, you're still the one doing the wrong thing. I knew there was trouble there from the get-go. The guy was absolutely, like, batshit. So then And at one point, he actually said to me, I said something to the effect of, I said, if this is the way, because he said to me, no, he's like, talk to me. I'm here to listen. And I'm like, I said, you jump into my DMs without ever really knowing me. You start criticizing me. And then you claim that while you don't judge the person that did the thing, you just want to listen. Like you're some benevolent helper. No, I said, this is a terrible way to make friends. And he said, I'll never forget his response. He said, he did this laughing emoji and he was like, I have no friends. And I'm thinking, yeah, that tracks. So I go back to my friend who was the moderator and I sent him the screenshots from the conversation. And I said, this is the guy that you think is really cool. He's not. He's terrible. I'm not coming on that show. So just a few months later, it was within a year, maybe even within 6 months. I can't remember the exact timeline. I find out that the Palaboys show imploded. And I don't know the details of what he did to his co-hosts. Like there was some sort of like, there was some sort of deceit, some lying or something like that went on behind the scenes with some of his co-hosts about something on related to the show. But at the very same time, this is the part that I do know for sure as far as the details. He had been one of those shameless, he is, because there's still YouTubers out there like this. He's one of those shameless YouTubers that openly tried to solicit material donations and gifts from his audience. And he would just tell them flat out what he wanted. Like he was some kind of Instagram model or something. The whole thing is just gross. But he did it under the false auspice of I'm trying to finish out parts of my collection. Oh, I'm just working so hard to finish my collection. Can you help me with these parts and pieces or items or whatever? And I guess he had one of those stupid like toy wall explosions behind him like so many YouTubers do. But audiences pick up on that. And apparently there were certain items that he had on display that he said he wanted to complete or something. And then the parts were sent to him. And then as soon as the parts were sent, mysteriously that item would no longer be behind him on camera. And he got caught red-handed selling those items. So he was asking people for stuff for his collection, but in reality, he was just flipping them and selling them for profit after he got the stuff for free. So all of that imploded the whole Palaboys thing. Now, I wasn't surprised by this because this guy's a piece of shit. Like, he's the worst. And what blew me away over the next few years was the fact that I'm not blown away by the fact that he just started a new show, channel, whatever you want to call it. These guys are genetically shameless. Like, there's no low to which they won't sink. What blew me away was how it was very well known that he had lied to his audience about soliciting donations and then flipping stuff. And yet somehow other people in the collector space just befriended him again. Like, and they thought he was this great guy until yesterday. There was one reaction video to this that was posted within the last, I guess, day and a half. And it's with a guy who's, I don't know him. I'd never heard of his channel before until I saw this video. Somebody sent me the link. He's very sincere. He clearly has been hoodwinked by this guy, and he's appalled at what's happened. Obviously, he doesn't consider that guy a friend anymore. This guy seems like a nice family man who has children and all that kind of stuff, and so of course he's horrified. But what really disturbed me about that reaction, and it's going to circle back around to what I just said about how these people just kept considering him a great guy even after he literally stole from people and lied in the doing. This guy said, here's the link to the article. I really wish I hadn't read past the first paragraph. I really wish that I had only read, like the first 3 lines, because that would have been enough. So I would recommend you guys not read past the first paragraph. And that's my real problem with the toy collector culture when it comes to the interpersonal relationships. The rule of thumb, the sad standard rule of thumb in toy collector culture is don't ask, don't tell. The sad norm, the sad normalized way that a lot of people operate is I don't want to know. I just want to protect my feels. And that goes beyond the toys to the people in this culture. And so a lot of people end up being like, oh, that person beat you up in the street? Yeah, I like him. I don't want to know that. And that's how people like Mark get away with stuff like this for so long. Like, let's take the literal crime out of it, the horrible crime that he's rightly been imprisoned for and now, is yet another mark on his dark criminal record that goes back multiple counts. Let's take that off the field for a minute. He stole from toy collectors. He preyed on their friendships, their parasocial relationship, and their emotions, and got them to donate stuff to him, openly solicit their donations so he could flip it for profit. That's really bad. And yet, people like this guy were just like, I thought he was a great guy. I'm horrified, but I thought he was a great guy. You had to have known that. You're a toy collector too. You had to have heard about that stuff. Don't tell me that's something where you just allow the guy to say, I'm sorry. And then you're all cool with him and you go have a pint at the pub. Come on. I think the reason that I'm so hot about this right now is because this guy brought, he was one of those people just like the rest of them. And I'm not saying that obviously the rest of the toy collector culture is not literally what this guy is as a criminal of sex offenses. What I mean though is that he was like so many of these other guys where it was all about, I just want to be friends with everybody and la 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 la, and I'm just going to bring people on. And so he's had people on his show, which I think is now called Blue Harvest or something. He's had people on his show that are known troublemakers in the toy collector culture. Like known, admitted troublemakers, grifters, thieves in the space that are also still, because of this culture, still just being like, yeah, that's fine. Like, I don't really want any of the drama, so I don't really want to talk about it, and just kind of, I'm just going to let that happen over there. We're not going to do anything about that because that would be like an inconvenience to my feels. So you got a guy who's now been arrested for some of the worst crimes imaginable, who has cavorted with people who have falsely accused other people in the toy culture of those crimes, as a way to try and get their channels canceled and people to unsub from them. So this guy who's actually the criminal has associated with people who use false accusations of that crime as a tactic to go after other channels. Okay? You've got that same convicted criminal also defending people who have demonstrated and admitted to vastly shady behavior within the toy collector culture. And yet there are still people popping up over the last 48 hours who are like, he was a really good friend. I wish I hadn't read the rest of that article. I mean, I know that he did what he did, but, you know, I wish I hadn't read the rest of it. No, you should want to read the rest of it. You really should. You guys have got to start. I don't mean all of you, so don't panic when I say you guys. I know some of you guys, when you're watching this and I say you guys, you immediately think I'm talking right at you. If you're not this person, then obviously I'm not talking to you. So don't leave me any angry comments like, I can't believe you're talking to me this way. I don't know. Really? Grow up. A lot of you guys in this space, though, a lot of guys in this space, you sit there and you run from reality. You won't confront it. You want to snuggle backwards into everything, and you just want everything to be nostalgia and everything to be chummy, and it's not. And even when you're faced with reality, you won't read the whole article. Literally and metaphorically, you won't do it. And this is why I have such an axe to grind with the way this whole toy collector society has unfurled in front of my eyes over the last 13 years. Because here I am, and several other people I know in this space who are good people, and all of us have been at some point, fingers have been pointed at us and we've been accused without evidence, without only for the intent to try and tear our channels down temporarily. Only for that cheap, petty tactic. We've been accused of all kinds of crimes. Accused. No, there's no evidence to support it. There's no reason to even say it. It's just simply trying to do a quick shortcut to getting people to hate us, because they know that people in this group quickly believe the shitheads. The shitheads can wrap so many people in this community around their finger so fast. It's amazing. But the people out there who are real, who create content, because we're not always comfortable, because we're not always, backing into that nostalgia with you like a hugging teddy bear, we're the ones that get looked at crossways when we're over here just making content. We literally haven't committed any crimes. But the people who have actually been suspicious, the people who are clearly troubled, the people who are clearly openly doing bad things, which then means that smoke that leads to the fire of the real bad things that they're doing under the table, you guys are like, no, he's just a brosif like me. He's fine. He's a good guy. You're the one I don't like because you insulted He-Man. Give me a break. Give me a break. This toy collector culture really needs to open its eyes and find some real new priorities. They need to refocus their priorities when it comes to the interpersonal side of this whole thing. Because this right here is the ultimate example of how the la-di-da, I don't want drama has totally turned you guys backward. in not wanting the drama, you're in bed with the drama at the expense of the people who are actually decent. It is wild. It is absolutely wild. And, you know, it goes beyond, you know, the generally stupid things that get said, you know, like Hasbro lays off 1,000 people and the reaction is, well, at least we're getting great G.I. Joe toys, so let's keep focused on the positive. Like, that's bad enough because that's just sad. That's a sad sociopathic, you know, take because everybody's gotten so addicted to their nostalgia and their as Chad would say, their dollies that they don't plug into reality. So they end up contributing to the harm in the community by trying to avoid the drama. So many people in this community, in their pursuit of just wanting everybody to get along and just wanting to avoid the drama, they contribute to allowing bad things to happen. What's that? Evil persists when good men do nothing. I believe I've probably butchered it, but that's what happens all the time in this space. And the terrible judge of character, the terrible judge of character across the board is amazing to me. All you have to do to win over the average guy in the toy collector community is act like Ronald McDonald in your YouTube videos, like with this exuberant, overly positive personality that's like fatally diplomatic and totally like soft-bellied. Make those open-mouthed faced, you know, thumbnails. All that crap. That's all you have to do to win over most of the people in the toy collector community. And then at that point, if you're a bad actor, you can just start saying whatever you want about anybody in the space you don't like. And most of the guys that glom to that kind of personality, like a moth to a flame, they'll be like, yeah, he's totally right. Yeah, he's totally right. That guy sucks. It's like, oh yeah, wait for the other shoe to drop, pal. You're never going to admit it, but you're going to feel real stupid soon. And so what I would say to people like the guy that's feeling shocked and betrayed right now by what's happened with this Mark guy, you had to have known that he stole from all those audience members from Palaboys. You had to have heard about that. That didn't make a dent with you? Or maybe you heard about it and went, nah, I don't believe that. That was more than it should have been. That wasn't that big a deal. They blew that out of proportion. I'm sure they blew it out of proportion. He's such a great guy. The guy even says in his response video that he found out months ago that the dude was in prison. Mark then asked him to keep it private. Okay, I can understand him wanting to keep it private if he's caught in a legal battle or whatever, and you don't know the details. The guy did not know the details of why he was in prison. Mark understandably wouldn't tell him. But when it does come out, because the guy's sentiment saying, you know, some people get sent up briefly for little things. And it's like, yeah, that's absolutely true. And when that little thing comes out, then you can say, yeah, he got in a traffic accident and they decided that he needed to be jailed for a while they figured out what happened. Like, people can get jailed over non-fatal things all the time. So no, I get that sentiment. I really, truly do. But when it does come out what it is, saying it's horrible is one thing. Great. saying you think it's despicable. All right, we're all on the same page. But then saying, don't read the article. I'm a big proponent, as you know, not of feels, but of thinking. Not emotions. I think emotions are good when they're appropriately placed. Emotions have their balance in the human experience. But not everything can be positive emotions, and not everything can be emotions. We've got to have thought and analysis. I and this entire channel have always been based around thought, analysis, and then unapologetic perspectives from that observation. Whatever those observations are, I draw my conclusion. I don't apologize for it. I don't put disclaimers on it. It's just my opinion. Well, no shit, it's just my opinion. Why everybody has to say that these days is ridiculous. But what that means is I don't think I can respect people who try to dissuade other people from collecting the information, because that shows me who you are. And to me, that's weakness. And we've got enough weakness in this toy collector culture. It's caused too many problems. We really, really need to turn a corner and get back to, well, not get back to, I don't think we've ever been there. We need to turn a corner and finally reach the destination that is, hey, we're adults. Most of us in our middle age. And we need to be setting a better example for everybody else, including our children that we want to protect. And the reason I'm so burned up about this is because this is the kind of crap behavior that has, I truly believe, caused so many people over the years to just falsely accuse me out of nowhere of all kinds of things simply because they didn't like my opinion about, I don't know, a Lego set or a Star Wars toy or whatever. Take your pick. There's a handful of YouTubers out there like myself whose only crime was saying that toy isn't that great. And maybe we were really sarcastic about it. And that's all it took for people to start accusing us of the crimes falsely, no evidence, crimes that these people that they glom onto and think they're just buddies actually are. And they'll sweep their transgressions under the rug over and over and over and over and over again until it gets to a point like this where they can't anymore, but then they still demonstrate that weakness. Please don't read the article. I'm sleeping well tonight because I had Mark pegged. Bad phrasing. I had Mark dead to rights. I didn't know what it was, but I knew that he was bad news. I told him so. I told him he was a really questionable person. I didn't want anything to do with him. And I thought the shoe dropped with the theft. I thought the shoe dropped with the lies and the donation theft for profit. I thought that was more than enough. But little did I know that in the background, he already had a seriously heinous record in another area, and it has now come around again. But hey, you guys keep picking friends like them, and I do say them. Basically, anybody that Mark championed on his channel, look at him a few times. Now, some people I'm sure that were on his channel because he was one of those social whores that was just trying to get everybody on his channel because toy collector culture gonna toy collector culture. I'm gonna get along with everybody. But there were a few players that slipped through the cracks there because of that open sluice gate. That are real problems. And people think they're just as awesome. And they're not. You guys better level up. You better level up. Because right now, you're going to bat for people like him. Regularly. Because you refuse to acknowledge the facts. You won't read the article. You better learn to start loving reading again. And you better get good at it. But, in the immortal words of LeVar Burton, don't take my word for it.